Good evening to all. I, Dr. Sister Amul Mary, the head of the Department of Computer Science, welcome you all for the fourth day of 5-day National Webinar-cum-Faculty Development Program on Advanced Research Methodology and Data Analysis in the Digital Age, organized by the Department of Commerce from 22nd to 26th October 2024. Dear participants, I have few instructions for you before starting the webinar. I request you all to keep your audio in mute and your video off to avoid the disturbances. Thank you. Before we commence the fourth day of 5-day National Webinar-cum-Faculty Development Program, let us invoke the divine blessings among us with a prayer as we follow a prayer song. I now welcome Sister Bhagya to lead us into the prayer with a prayer song. Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of us. You're the living water, never drying fountain. Comforter and comes in us, take complete control. Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of us. You're the living water, never drying fountain. Comforter and comes in us, take complete control. You are the living water, never drying fountain. Comforter and comes in us, take complete control. Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of us. Thank you, Sister Bhagya, for imploring God's blessings upon us. I am privileged to welcome Professor Venkataramana sir, retired professor in commerce from Sri Krishna Devaraya University, who will be dealing with this on the topic report writing. Sir has completed his PhD in Human Resource Management, SK University, Anantapuram. He has 31 years of teaching experience and 35 years of research experience. Sir has held various administrative positions like Registrar at Sri Krishna Devaraya University from 2016 to 17, Director Atal Incubation Center at Niti Aayog SKU from December 2017 to present, Director Internal Quality Assurance Cell at SK University from 2019 to 2021. OSD to Vice Chancellor at SK University from 2017 to 19. Director and Sri Krishna Devaraya Institute of Academic and Development from 2010 to 11. Head of the Department of Commerce, SK University from 2007 to 10 and 18 to 20. Chairman Board of Studies, Department of Commerce, SK University from 2015 to 17, 20 to 21. Sir is also a governing body member in Government Arts College for Men University nominee, Sri Krishna UG and PG College, governing body member at Government of AP, UGC Expert Committee on Sanction of Autonomous Colleges, APSHE, nominee at Sri Krishna UG and PG College, Nandyal. SAR has membership in professional bodies like Life Member in All India Commerce Association and Member of Board of Studies in 11 various colleges, including various universities and in government degree colleges. Sir has authored and edited 6 books and published numerous research papers in 31 national and 13 international journals. Sir has conducted national workshop on research methodology in Sir has conducted national workshop on research methodology in social sciences in association with AIU and conducted 2 national seminars. Sir has presented and participated in 49 national and international seminars, conferences and webinars and acted as resource person and keynote speaker and delivered lectures in 8 national seminars and webinars. To his credit, under the guidance of Professor Venkataramana sir, 16 PhDs and 11 MPhils are awarded and 2 PhDs are in progress. Sir is also very human. To show his humanity, he has done many extension services. He was convener in anti-ragging committee at SK University, acted as coordinator for finishing school initiated by Akshay, convener for preparation of tender documents for outsourcing personnel in SKU 2000, on 2019. Co-convener for conduct of entrance examination for MSIS course. Sir, once again we welcome you and appreciate your vast knowledge. We hope that the participants also will be enriched during this session. Welcome you, sir, and over to you to begin the session. Sir? Sir? We can't hear you, sir.
Now, madam. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, sir.
Hello.
Sir?
Madam,
Yeah, we can
I am
hear you.
audible now.
Audible now. Audible.
Hello. Audible, madam.
Yes, sir, audible. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. You are audible.
Audible.
Yeah, yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello. I am unable to see you. Am I visible, madam, to you?
Yes, sir, you are visible.
All right. Right. Good afternoon, one and all.
Good afternoon, sir.
And my dear participants. Madam, am I visible and audible? Both.
Yes, sir, you are visible and audible.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all.
Good afternoon, sir.
My dear participants. Dr. Sudhakaraiah garu, head of the department and convener of the department, commerce department, this program. Principal madam, Dr. Mary ma'am, and all other participants, very good afternoon, one and all. Indeed, I am very much honored and privileged for being invited for this a national webinar come faculty development program titled Advanced Research Methodology and Data Analysis in the Digital Age by JMJ College for Women Autonomous, Tenali. Indeed, I appreciate Dr. Sudhakaraiah and the team and also the principal of the college for mooting an excellent idea of taking an excellent topic of contemporary relevance and time-tested one. And I personally believe that is a novel attempt. Nobody has conducted so far, to my knowledge. There are many research programs and research methodology programs are organized, including myself. But I am of the opinion that the title that under which the topics are the topic selected, that is Advanced Research Methodology and Data Analysis in the Digital Era or a Digital Age, I am of the opinion that it is a contemporary topic, a topic of novel attempt. And I appreciate once again the management of the college, principal madam, and Sudhakaraiah and his team for their rigorous effort that they have made and selected a topic for 4-5 days discussion on various aspects and facets of advanced research methodology course, touching upon in the context and in the relevance of information era or in a knowledge era as of today. The entire program, about a couple of hours program, is throw light on very 5 broad areas. And I would like to once again inform the intellectuals gathering and participating in the webinar, like teacher community, budding scholars, research scholars, researchers, academicians, and all host of others who have been interested in knowing some insights, new thought-provoking ideas on various facets of social science research, touching upon covering a wide variety of topics that have been chosen for debate, discussion, inviting researchers and academicians across the country, starting from Acharya Nagarjuna University to Central University, Pondicherry. And very meticulously they have planned out. And different topics chosen because I have been briefed by Sudhakaraiah and day and out. And I have been also witnessing, living 1 or 2 hours. The rest of the hours I have been observing how meticulously they have planned out, how carefully the researchers and the resource persons have been presenting very, very thought-provoking ideas and new insights and vistas on various concepts of advanced research methodology, covering various contemporary topics like data analysis, and also in the wake of digital age, or in the information age, or in the age of knowledge society, knowledge economy. Indeed, the topics are very hard touching upon, and they have the academic relevance and social significance. And I once again take this time to appreciate and acknowledge the efforts being made by Sudhakaraiah and his team for their meticulous care and caution while drafting or framing different topics for discussion, for sharing of ideas among the modern social scientists, budding scholars, research scholars, contemporary research scholars, those who have been pursuing their research in the domain of commerce and management education. That is the reason why I thought of that. Let this what reasons might have prompted them to select this particular topic. Because as you all know, every topic, whether it is social science research or science research, they should always have the contemporary relevance. And the research that is to be done, that is being done today, it should reflect about a decade or more than that. And the research is being done not only for contemporary topics, but the topics of social significance, and more than that, the contemporary relevance. And the topic that you have selected today, it must have its own life for about 22 decades or so. So therefore, social scientists must be very cautious while selecting a problem, especially in the new era, in the knowledge era, in a technological era as of this today, because ample opportunities are there to make the reasons very objectively it can be done, purposefully it can be done, very pragmatically the research can be made, taking the stock advantages of information technology that is made available, and advanced statistical techniques that are made available, and the research methodology also has undergone drastic changes in the wake of information era. That is the reason why the research scholars of today and the research scholars of tomorrow, and more than that, the social scientists as of now, they must be very careful, very cautious, very vigilant, very ethical in selecting a right problem and giving a right solution for a research topic, a research problem. Because the information technology has given n number of advantages are given, equally disadvantages are also being there, and it has its own it has got positive effect, and more than that, negative aspects are also there. Taking all these situations into the mind, taking all these factors into the consideration, the budding scholars and the research scholars of today, they must be very cautious in using data techniques and statistical techniques, and in the information era, taking advantage of the technological innovations and inventions and discoveries that are made available to the contemporary social scientists. Therefore, my humble request and submission to all of my appeal is that don't take any research problem for a research sake. Don't take for research sake. And this is very, very important, that what the society is expecting for all of us is we have to do a topic that is very, very contemporary relevant, and more than they must touch upon the social relevance also. Because there is one saying in the new education policy, contributing knowledge through the research. Knowledge is there, wisdom is there, and n number of sources are there. But one of the sources through which the higher education expecting from all of us is, you should add a new knowledge to the existing knowledge. Not simply PhD means picking up some papers and adding these papers and putting in a form of a book and submitting it and getting a degree. It's not at all so. But gone are the days where we used to have all those things. But these are the days where every one of us is expected to rise to the occasion and submit a qualitative research and the qualitative research for the society, because society is expecting more from us. The more the highly educated you all are, we are all, the more people in the society is expecting a lot from us. That's the reason why, starting from selection of a problem to the submission of the report, submission of the thesis for in the form of a report, that is the dissertation. One should be very meticulous, one should be very careful, and one should be very dedicated, and our unwavering commitment and dedication. The social sciences scientists are supposed to be careful and in taking the selecting a research problem, and while submitting the research in the form of a dissertation or a thesis. So unfortunately, it is not being, there is a one criticism across the academicians, more than that the policy makers. They are not taken for their policy making, policy decision. Though the very purpose of any research, for that matter, whether in the sciences or social sciences, physical sciences or material sciences, whatever the research that is made, the research fruits are supposed to be reached to the ultimate society. If not, there is no fun of spending time and spending crores of rupees, lakhs of rupees on research by the research funding agencies, government, and the institutions like colleges and universities. That is the reason why my humble submission and request to all of you is, while selecting a problem, whether it is a social science or sciences, and every research scholar and the research supervisor should be very meticulous, careful, and one must do all the research with care and caution, and not simply getting some information, putting it in a form of from the selection of a problem. It is the moral responsibility of every one of us, because the technology is giving otherwise. You can, because the ChatGPT is there, get them a data something else and put in the form of something else, and everything it is made in the form of a book within a fraction of a couple of hours. You can get the every entire information, including the table analysis. Is that the way how one is supposed to do it? Because technology is available, and information technology is available, internet is available, YouTubes are available, everything is made available for us to make the research a qualitative one, not being made not on the number game, not on the quantitative analysis, one should quantitative manners, but whether it is whether you do or any research given by the research institutions, one must be very meticulous, careful, and very ethical in his or her research attempts. Unfortunately, ghost writers are there, and you get the information, give it to somebody else, somebody do it, and on your way of you taking their advantage, you are making. You are submitting the thesis or getting the PhD thesis. So that is the reason why I request to all of you, it is a caution, because it is a time is given for me for a couple of hours. That is my thought of let me share and share some of my ideas on the current trend research is it is like that, and nobody is no teacher. I am sorry to make a sweeping statement. I am sorry. I extremely sorry to say, because my 3 decades of experience as a research supervisor and a research scholar, I have a number of occasions to observe all the researches being made, and I supervise many research scholars and externally within SK University. But no, unfortunately, research scholar is very serious about it. And what he see at least, the once he joins here, within a couple of years he wants to degree. And if the research supervisor is unable to do it, he goes somewhere else and get things done, because ghost writers are there. And highly intellectuals like us, and called it, I do not know, I don't want to say that it is called, but intellectuals like us will be very cautious. The society is expecting more from us, from different angles and different dimensions. We are being subjected to correction. We are responsible to the society. That is the reason why my sincere appeal to all of you is selecting a problem is a problem, undoubtedly it is so. But once you right kind of problem is selected by the advice of the research supervisor, it is easy for you and it is also easy for the research supervisor also. But unfortunately, what is being done means research supervisor, he has his own way of doing businesses, and the research scholars have their own urgencies. That is the reason why when the research scholar, when the research guide is not properly attending, unfortunately, research supervisor is resorting to some things and get the degrees by ghost writers or something else copied down somewhere to thank. But anyhow, plagiarism has come. But in spite of that, there also it is being utilized. That is the reason why my humble request is that let us take the advantage of the technology, but that the technology should be used for a good cause. The technology should be used for a social cause. The technology is supposed to be used for humanity, not for getting a degree, not putting 300 pages, cutting it, putting it, making it a binding, and submitting the thesis. Not so. My humble request, therefore, is research scholars, research supervisors, and budding scholars, while selecting the problem, be ethical, be sincere, be dedicated, and be very sincere in all your words and deeds. In a true spirit, the research is supposed to be undertaken. But that is the reason why when we are doing like this, UGC is also very meticulously planning that then and there itself some stringent actions are being taken to curb all such malpractices. That is the reason why it is a time for me. An occasion has come, a time has come. It is a nice juncture and nice people to talk about that the research in social science research, unfortunately, that deliberation, the findings and inferences and conclusions of the research findings being arrived in the social sciences, unfortunately, they are not being taken by the policy makers. Probably that is the reason why UGC, unfortunately, in sanctioning the PDFs, research scholars also, they have reduced the PDF scholars. There is the practice sending the proposal and get the time has changed. Now what they are doing is, and you are supposed to prepare for paper presentation. That is being initiated now. Therefore, my sincere request to all the research scholars, budding research scholars, and current contemporary present day research scholars and the teachers, be careful and be ethical in our academic pursuits, especially because the society is expecting a lot from us. So, therefore, with this small brief, because it is my mental agony, I lament for a n number of occasions like this. I had n number of occasions, and even also when the recent about a couple of months back, when Himalayan University invited me to talk about selecting a research problem, there also I expressed my lament. I expressed my mental agony that then, but we are not the Brospatis. We cannot do everything on par with the Americans, but still with a due respect on our education system, the higher education system is expecting a lot from us because many universities, unfortunately, the guides are retiring, research teachers are retiring, and the intake of the research scholar also unfortunately gradually declining. And UGC is also stipulated a condition that hereafter there will not be direct entrance examinations for the research program. Rather, research and a student he or she who has qualified for a net examination, 95% of percentage of research scholars who are qualified in the net examinations are alone allowed to do PhD, and part-time research is also being regularized, and external evaluation means that means examiners by external examiners they are being insisted. That is the reason why in the years to come and after 2019 onwards, UGC is very stubborn and very very strict in awarding the research degrees. That is the reason why their expectation is that the social science research, unfortunately, they are not reaching to the scale. And that is the reason why they have been imposing, they have been putting different conditions to see that the quality of research is supposed to be turned out by the social scientists like all of us. That is the reason why tomorrow's future is lying with us. Tomorrow's higher education fate is lying with us. All education institutions, research supervisors, teacher fraternity, and the research scholars of today and tomorrow, you must be very careful, and you are supposed to be a scale up to the expectations being expected by the UGC and the higher education institutions. Therefore, with this small brief introductory remarks, I would like to pass on, I would like to make some of my shed and make some of my ideas on the topic that is given today. So, the observation that I have made, I believe, it has given us the quality of what now. What is the research as of now? What is the state of research, social science research as of now? That is the topic that is to be debated before going, because for the last 4 days I am sure that the different research supervisors, starting from Professor Sivaram Prasad and Professor Venkateswarlu, from yesterday's my research scholar Professor V. Jalan Basha, and other research person, they might have spelled out, they might have spoken upon very important relevant components of advanced research methodologies and data analysis. So therefore, now today is the last day we are coming up, ending before tomorrow's program. Today is ending, and whatever the ideas that they might have spoken, and whatever I am touching upon today, and they should dwell on and speak about very important elements that they might have already covered. And in turn, what I do is, without any should not be redundancy, but I will touch upon a kind of issues that will be useful to the researchers, because the title itself is very basically said. It is called Faculty Development Program, FDP program. It is blended with one is for research scholars and the other also for the research supervisor. Probably very logically, very judiciously, they have taken up a title like this: Advanced Research Methodology and Data Analysis. Data analysis, my research scholar Professor Jilan Basa might have given you a very holistic approach about the research analysis, prescriptive analysis and the inferential statistical analysis, combining both. Because the other day he was telling, sir, what should I cover like that? He was asking me. Then I told you, Nana, entirely the contemporary topics to touch upon, and there are teachers are also there, and some research scholars also there. So I suggested him to see that all the descriptive statistical analysis and the latest advancement techniques like R programming. I am just a short while ago also, Dr. Sudhakaraiah, that Mr. Jalan Bash, he has given you entire beautiful picture about data analytics and the contemporary techniques being used by present day research scholars. So the what the faculty development program is aimed at to help the teachers improve their knowledge and skills. What is the skill? What is the knowledge and skills? Because most of the researchers, unfortunately, for the last couple of years back also, I have seen some of the topics that are given like this: a performance appraisal of bank, performance appraisal of be very modern, and that the topics must be contemporary relevant. But taking these type of titles, Dwakara in Anandpur Jilla district, Dwakara in Kurnool district, Dwakara in something else, and because once your thesis, your dissertation, if you were one of the intro members, if expects you, show me your thesis, and you must be able to show it. Because that today, whatever the topic that you have selected today, it must have not less than a 2 decades period. Say, for example, FDI, foreign direct investment, you do it. right? E-banking, you do it. And a number of digitalization of cash transactions, do it. And international human resource management, do it. New areas, new topics are there. And marketing, very, very novel topics are coming in. But unfortunately, consumer behavior of edible oil and consumer behavior of Ayurvedic medicines. These are all the very, very redundant and topics which have already been made some contribution. They are selecting now. That is my request is you take a topic of modern element, right? So because this is your research should add something to the new knowledge. It must be adding to the new knowledge. It must have the novel attempt. It must have the new innovative ideas. And let the topics be domain areas like human resource management, marketing, and accounting, and HRM, and finance, and everything. But those topics, they can be rekined and rekined in a new fashion. And the old topics can also be rekined in a new fashion. But that the title should be very, very, because you are all Telugu people, I can understand. I can say in Telugulo. ఒక ఆయన వండుకొని అన్నాడంట, ఏమి హనుమంతు బాగున్నావు అన్నంట, నా పేరు నీకట తెలుసు అన్నంట, నీ మూతు చూస్తానే తెలుసు అన్నాడంట. ఇన్ ద సెన్స్, నీ టాపిక్ పైన చూస్తానే నువ్వు లోపల ఉన్న నీలో ఉన్న ఎబిలిటీస్ ఏమో తెలిసిపోతుంది, నీకున్న టాపిక్ ఏమో తెలిసిపోతుంది, నీకున్న నాలెడ్జ్ ఏమో తెలిసిపోతుంది. That is the reason why selecting a title itself, it decides your quality of thesis and your potency. Therefore, while selecting the problems, discuss with many research supervisors, many researchers will be there, teachers will be there, retired teachers will be there. Go to them, show to them, and get the same topic can be rekined. By virtue of their experience and exposure, I am sure that the teacher will be able to give you a right kind of solution, right kind of titles. Because title goes everything. Inside what is, now we know, every one of us know. For the last 30 years we have been on the field. That's the reason why we know what is right and what is wrong. By seeing your title itself, I can guess and gauge where you stand, where your quality of thesis stands for. That is the reason why selecting a problem is a very, very carefully you must do it. And your title should add something to the existing knowledge. And a new fashion you can be made it. And that is the reason why, while selecting the problem, be careful and very meticulously planned out, and it must be very crystal clear, it must be there. And it must not be given a dual meaning. And say, for example, in one of the cases, one thesis came to me about 7 to 8 years back. The title of the topic is, unfortunately, you see, the best example you can say. Some North India university, it is sent to me. The title of the topic is like this: the impact of capital markets in the rural development, a case study of Chindwana district. Like this is the title. Impact of capital market and in the rural development of a case study of Chindwana district. What you might have done instead is capital market, whether or not how capital market and rural development tally. There is no compatibility between the title and the contents therein. Unfortunately, the contents of the thesis touched upon a capital formation, money from money lenders, credit from traders, credit from friends, credit from businessmen. That the components within the contents of the thesis is like that. Unfortunately, the title is capital market has used it. Unfortunately, it is very, I am sorry to say, other two external examiners, they have recommended for award of the degree. Surprisingly, I made a negative comment stating that capital market in no way it is connected with the rural development. That is the reason why at this stage, contents of the thesis cannot be changed. I request and suggested them to change the title of the topic. Instead, what I suggested them is capital formation and its impact on rural development, a case study of Chandwana district. Then they corrected it, again they sent to me, and I recommended for the award of the degree. But you see how the research supervisor also sometimes, because of our familiarity with the research supervisors, unfortunately based on that familiarity and some contacts, they are they are awarding the PhD. So nothing wrong in getting the degree. You will get the degree. When you face in any competitive examination, especially in a private university, the moment they see the topic, the title of the topic, immediately you will be judged and you will be judged based on your thesis. Because your capacity is known on your paper, title of the thesis. And your teacher, supervisor's talent can also be judged based on the title that is given to. Therefore, this is like that. There are 3 to 4 instances where I send back the theses. So they write something else and the inside something else will be there. So therefore, my request to all of you is selecting a problem is very, very, very carefully one should do it. Because you must see not only you are getting your degree for your sake, rather your knowledge never dies. Knowledge perpetuates. Knowledge transforms. Knowledge will be moving from one generation to the another generation. That is the reason why if something wrong with you, something will also go in the years to come with the other younger generations. That is the reason why research degrees are not for today. Research degrees not for getting your degree. And the degree that you are doing, it is adding some to the society. And your thesis will be seen and by many research scholars or research supervisors. If go wrong, something goes wrong with the research supervisors or research scholars who looks into. That is the reason why my request is, title is very, very, very important. You must remember that the title of the thesis will be very meticulously, very carefully, it will be done. Because FDP program, but why it is teachers are aimed to attend this teacher training, that is faculty development means it is a faculty, that means your way of thinking should change. Your way of thinking should change, and the way how you select the problem and how you guide the research supervisor, that decides and determines the quality of the research. Therefore, my fellow teachers and fraternity and the research scholar, budding scholars, and my sincere appeal to all of you is, while selecting a problem, again and again I am repeatedly appealing and requesting you, is you see that many research supervisors or research guides or some your classmates or somebody else, that research topic is to be pruned and it must be again and again subject to corrections. Then only final it should commit. Because there, if you are wrong, the entire thesis will unfortunately being gathered and guessed otherwise. You will be guessed and gathered otherwise. Because we are living in that too, your thesis is being kept in the South Ganga. And you are in the Google. And once any topic of this, it is just Google go and South Ganga, your thesis is being available to n number of people. You may say that I am nobody will observe me and whatever the topic that is done, and you may get the degree. But the degree sometimes or other, any revision may come. Today you might have seen that UGC has made some observations on Dravid University, and the research, that is the registrar of the university, has gone for explanation today. So therefore, don't expect that degrees are maybe awarded today, but your degrees are in the South Ganga and they are in the Google. So at every point of your time, your thesis, your quality of thesis is being scaled out. Therefore, my dear teachers, and be meticulous and be careful in the digital. That is what I am cautioning you. In the digital era, you can take advantage. Many advantages are there. Day in and day out, you can get many advantages out of this digital era and digitalization. But equally, it has its own dangers also. And it has advantages, equally it has a disadvantage in the sense you are not so easily be allowed to do as you like. You may say that is that charge bit is that bit, that is this and that. For that also mechanism, digitalization is coming in, because even if you have you take the same idea, change your language, change it the same idea in our language, there are some artificial intelligence is coming in. If you borrow the idea of mine, intellectual property right, that is also being tested, and it simply be tested and scanned that your idea is not your own idea. This idea is unfortunately been borrowed from somewhere else. Like that, immediately scanned copy will come stating that your quality, your thesis is subject to corrections. So therefore, my dear friends, Even if your ideas are also, if you borrow from somewhere else and put in your own language, that is also being scanned and that is also at every point of innovation is expected, originality is expected, and your own ideas, let your ideas write in your own language, nothing wrong it. Therefore, while selecting the problem and writing it and submitting it, it must be very carefully, you must see, and you must see that, oh, nobody is looking to me. When we are talking about research methodologies, methodologies are also subject to correction. And all statistical techniques and everything will be very, for example, validity. What is the validity of your sample, validity of your data, reliability of the test, all reliability, validity, these are also being tested. Chi-square, F techniques are also made available today. But unfortunately, there is some even today, unfortunately, because of, 1 year back, I have examined one of the I have evaluated one of the theses came from some private university. Unfortunately, the thesis runs about for 300 pages, no problem. But this is done simply based on it is based on the primary data, but they have simply used yes or no and only percentages. I made a big everything is can be done. Statistical techniques are also there. So you can use n number of statistical techniques because it is a data based on primary data, empirical data. Empirical data is subject, they can be used for this one, statistical techniques, but no statistical technique is there. But again, two examiners they have favorably recommended, but I myself this technique can be made. These are all the tables where the table and that is percentage he has used it, and beyond that he can also go, but nothing has been done. Then one more thing, what I want to make in the present day research is unfortunately that the teacher research tech, the research statistical tools used, they must have the contemporary relevance. Because there is one saying, but the more number of statistical techniques one uses, he or she feels that the quality of the thesis is very high. No, 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 not at all. But confusing, they are making the examiner and the any general public, if he or she sees, it must have some relevance. Statistical techniques for not namesake, and they must have the current of relevance. That is the reason why write down one any thesis, T test, under what conditions T test can be used. You read it. Under what conditions, when the data is smaller, when the data is available, larger data, smaller data, like that, you analyze under what conditions T test can be used, under what kind of circumstances the F test can be done, and what conditions, under what conditions the chi-square test can be used. You write and everything, explanation you write down. And whether or not they are, because what the technologies gives us, and whatever the data you give to the computers, computer in turn will give the results. So whether or not the technique can be used, whether or not that the statistical data, statistics can be used to get all such results. And inferential statistics, one you, if at all you want to use that inferential statistics, their validity and their contemporary relevance are to be done. That అందుకని స్టాటిస్టికల్ టెక్నిక్ వాడకపోతే థీసిస్ కాదనేసి చాలా మంది అంటూ ఉంటారు. దట్ ద రీజన్ వై బీ కేర్ఫుల్ వైల్ యూజింగ్ ది స్టాటిస్టికల్ టెక్నిక్ ఆల్సో బీ లిమిటెడ్. ఇంకోటి ఉంది, hypothesis, n number of hypotheses they will use it. For example, one of the theses has nearly 56 hypotheses are given, and nearly 15 objectives are given. So no, no, no. For every small thing you need not give the one objective means broad. Then under one objective must be covered in one chapter, and 5 chapters means five chapters, 5 objectives, and last one is conclusion. But unfortunately, what they are doing it, they write 15 objectives and they write only two very core chapters will be there, two theoretical background, one conclusion. When you are writing 15 objectives with 15 to 20 hypothesis, what made you, what constrained you, what restrained you, and what made you not to cover at least 5 to 6 chapters? There is a wider scope to include 6 to 7 chapters, but unfortunately they made it into the two theory form, two practical. Even that also, one page runs about 15 pages, another chapter 50 pages, and first two chapters 40 pages, 40 pages. 40, 40, 15, 20, yeah, 50. And the conclusion chapter is under 10 pages. And you see the coherence how it is. Whenever a scientific research is being done, means while writing the report, please, you must see that there must be compatibility and coherence between one objectives, title of the topic, objectives of the topic, and the chapterization. There must be coherence. There must be compatibility. There must be link between one to that of the another. One chapter conclusion should give rise to the second chapter introduction. And that chapter concluding part, one must get an idea that he is inferring like this. Therefore, this third chapter would be like this. And that is the reason why one chapter to the another chapter there must be coherence. While writing the introductory part also, what this first chapter deals with, and without the examiner need not go to the inner part of the chapter. The moment one he sees the first para, he or she must be able to say what the researcher wants to say in the chapter broadly. And the summary part clearly write it, what this chapter concludes. And this conclusion should rise into the next second chapter. So this is the way how a research report should also be subject to first chapter to that of the last chapter. There must be coherence. There must be link. There must be compatibility. And in a number of pages also, I told you, no, number of pages also, first page 50 pages, all theoretical aspect. So you need not write theories now. Theories days have already gone. And even in the theories also, novelty must be there. That is the research report writing. And the report, any thesis research is for adding new concepts, for developing new concepts, for developing new models, for adding some new theories. Theories might have been built long back, and the same theories must be changed as per the changes as of now. So all these theories, models, and concepts must be redefined in a new way. For that only research is being done. So therefore, in the chapterization also, you must there is no word chapterization. In the chapters also, very meticulously one should plan what this chapter in a very brief manner you should write. Brevity and high thought content must be there. So that is the reason why I put a 5 to 6 lines. What this chapter deals with, what this chapter attempts to, what the investigator wants to say, what he wants to add something else. Write it very briefly. So therefore, don't write unnecessarily theories of motivation, theories of leadership, theories of consumer behavior. They write like that. Banks also, all banks, different types of banks, everything. The theory knowledge has already gone out. Because in the knowledge era, 100 years theories have already been already dealt. So that's the reason why the central ideas and essence of the theories can be made in the form of 10 pages or so, 10 or 15 pages. At most 30 pages. And sequentially you should also see that you should accordingly alignment we must made that 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 40 like that. And one page, as I told you, one chapter is about 50 pages, last chapter will be 10 pages. There is no link between these two. So that's the reason why in writing a report writing, very, very meticulously, carefully planned out. And that the moment I see the chapter heading, I must be able to see what the gentleman has given in the subsequent pages. Like that, I must be able to say. But unfortunately, that is not being followed. And a number of tables are using. Unnecessary tables for every two, yes or no for two, one table. For like that, 15 to 20 tables unnecessarily. The same can be put in the form of one page, you can write it. But the unnecessarily pages, they want to pull more number of pages. They are using how many pages? 15 pages unnecessarily. Because your research examiner is more intelligent and experienced than you. You may be saying that as I am putting more number of pages, the more number of pages means the high quality. No. Those days have already gone. That is the reason why in our days, we used to submit our seniors used to submit 500 pages, 600 pages. If the same thesis of the same number, if you submit today, people will laugh at us, stating that, "What, gentlemen, you do not know concising it, brevity and the high thought content principles have already gone." So like that, the reason why they put on a saying that let it be 200 to 300 pages, more than that, in social science research, but with appropriate tables. And these unnecessary graphs are also being done. Why? When the graph is to be used, when the table titles should be there. Table titles, unfortunately, they are making it in the form of a questioning. How many children do you have? That is the title of the table. And they said here 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, like. So what the examiner gets an idea? Whatever that is there in the questionnaire, the same questionnaire is coming in and putting it in the form of a table content. How many students do you, how many children do you have? Instead, you can do classification of respondent based on number of number of children. You do it. Instead, what they do is, whatever that is question is asked, the same question is being here. Even now it is being done. That's the reason why I am telling. Because you may get that, sir, you are saying exaggeration. No. About 3 months back, I evaluated one thesis from ICSSR. It came from Indian Council of Social Science Research for revision, for evaluation to me. And I read 2 to 3 pages. I have written all the negative comments. And he never put his brain and simply has added it. That's the reason why, while writing the report also, be careful like this. And even in the writing of review of literature also, unfortunately, and review of literature, what I believe is, according to the social scientist, you write in simple past tense. He made a research, he investigated, he described, he evaluated, he made a study, he carried out a study. Instead, what the research scholars are doing, unfortunately, and that is not being meticulously taken care by the research supervisors also. He describes a study, he has analyzed a study, he made a study. One is simple present indefinite on one sentence. Present perfect another sentence. Last sentence is simple past tense. You see, in the same review of literature, unfortunately, neither the research supervisor nor the research scholar is caring about it. He writes like that only. And he writes, if it is whether or not it is relevant or irrelevant, he is not writing. Whatever some other research supervisor, research scholar made it as debate, he is using the same debate also. Whether is there, that the relevance is there, here in our research is not looking that. Debate, opera cited, contra, column, everything, whatever that has used, the same has been used here, whether or not it is useful or not. That also, I am sorry, that the research scholars are also doing like this. And the research, most of the research scholars, they give least importance to the reference and footnotes. They are not taking care about all, because the quality of the thesis is also judged based on types of references you have used, the way you have used it, how the bibliography is written, how the references are written, how the opera cited is written, how, when, and what context it is to be used, when it all, etc. When more than 2 authors will be there, how is to be cited. So they are not at all caring. They do not know subject bibliography, they do not know the bibliography, they do not know references, whatever they, his or her own research supervisors are, in other research use the same, they are using it. Whether or not that is applicable to our research is not being done. And in some of the research, I am sorry to say for example, one case, DOCRA program, the functioning of the DOCRA program in Anantapur district. And in one of the cases, DOCRA program in Chittor district. what the suggestions what he has written without knowing the knowledge of the research supervisor, that research scholar has borrowed the conclusions that are made in doctoral program in Kurnool district, Anantapur district, the same conclusions are given in the research done on doctoral program in Chittoor district without deleting the Anantapur district. So what impression I can get? Oh, the gentleman has borrowed whatever the suggestions and conclusions that are written in doctoral program in Anantapur district, the same conclusions unfortunately being incorporated in the thesis being submitted by one research supervisor, research scholar in who has done research on Chittoor district. And like that, financial performance of Andhra Bank, financial performance of Regional Rural Bank, financial performance of cooperative banks, same conclusions they are drawing there, without changing the name of the bank and name of the district. So that amounts to, it is a kind of unethical attitude. Therefore, research scholars are subject to this one. They are borrowing and liking whether or not their conclusions are useful to our study or not, they are not bothering about. So research trends are going now, and from micro-analysis to earlier macro-analysis, macro studies used to be there. Now everything has been micro level, and empirical analysis researches are being made using there is a wider scope to use the statistics. Many are also there. Research books are also available. Online courses are also being available to get the familiarity with the statistical techniques or programming. Therefore, my sincere request to all of you, my sincere request to all the teachers fraternity and the research scholar to see that n number of books are available. And SP Gupta and SC Gupta mathematical orientation and statistical and SC Gupta is also available. Good Day and Hat is available. SR Bajpai is available. Then n number of books available, because those are the days where we used to have some problem. Using the technology now, you can borrow, you can download, n number of chances are there. And writing skills are also there, how to concise, how to write a thesis, how to write a research problem, how to write a research objectives, how to write a research questions, how to formulate a research hypothesis, and how to design a research design for in this society, in this ever changing world, how the research designs are changed, and what type of the research design techniques are there. So now compared to the earlier days, our days, it is the days where you are living in a knowledge economy, knowledge society, knowledge world. Everything is made available on the website. And if you are able to manage that forefinger, you can get the data from America. And that is the reason why, under these conditions, either any student or any research supervisor, the research scholar, they must be familiar with the latest technology and use of statistical data on advanced levels, and such types of things are supposed to be reflected in our theses. Then only your thesis will have a longevity. Then only your subject will have the impact on the society. That also you must be very vigilant and careful about using of references with peer journals and UGC care list journals, and the methodology that is being followed in so-called referred journals, and everything. You must have a pragmatic view about all such new methodologies. So therefore, as statistical techniques are also available. So therefore, compared to earlier days, today, globalized era or a technological era or the digital era has made us very comfortable in using, and you can access anything can be accessed, and it is only time that matters, and that only the patience that matters. And if you do it patiently, the years to come, you will yield the benefits of, you will reap the fruits of your research. So therefore, in hereafter, getting a research degree, indeed it is a Herculean task. Doing a research on an excellent manner is also a very daunting task. However, with the sincere efforts made by both the researcher and the research supervisor, I am sure that in the years to come, quality researchers will definitely come out. So you can download n number of skill of writing theses, how to thesis writing can be improved, and how the qualities of good research, qualities of a good researcher. So like that, chances are there. Make use of the technology in a modern technology that is made available today, and accordingly you are supposed to write all the dissertations and how to write an abstract, how to write a research proposal, how to write a thesis. Many students unfortunately do not know the difference between the dissertation and the thesis also. For thesis also, somebody for plural he uses is even today, because very meticulously one should be very careful. Why you write? Write a note. Write what is the dissertation, what are the characteristics of dissertation, how the dissertation should be. Project work, what is the project work? You write down. Thesis, write down. Write empirical research, write down. Quantitative research, write down. Write action research, write down. Right? And empirical research, experimental research, write down. Historical research, write down. You write down. Write a take over 200 pages. Write very meticulously. Your notes should be useful to somebody else. That is what I used to do earlier. But for the last 10 years, with the works of these research scholars, indeed, I have abandoned all such things. I am forced to discontinue, because that the researcher should have the ethics, and he or she must have. If I put 2 hours effort, research scholars is expected to do more than that, because the research supervisor quality should reflect in the quality of a researcher. So that, but unfortunately, that is gradually it is disappearing. So the research supervisor and the research scholar, there must be a healthy cordial relationship. The degrees are not supposed to be awarded based on courtesy, based on I sincerely to all of you. Many things I can discuss, but starting from the statement of the problem and framing of questions and writing the review of literature and identification of the research gaps are also very, very important, because Sivaram Prasad, he was very beautifully saying all these things, and how the research gaps can analyze. What are the objectives gap and the time gap and the areas of gap, scope of the subject. So like that, research gaps are also very meticulously carefully identified in the research program. And once that is done, objectives are also supposed to be very carefully framed. The solution what they do is to understand the concept of Dhokra has got 60 years of data, or for example 30 years of for the last 30 years the doctor is there, but in the objectives what he writes is the objective of the first objective of the program is to understand the concept of Dhokra, to know the functions of Dhokra. Second objectives, is that the way how the objects are to be framed, identify, analyze, that same that can be written, and to trace the banking industry, to trace the history and the banking in India. Is it the way? No, because that those days have already gone. Your objectives must be very innovative, and it must be very attractive, and it must be lucrative, and if anybody sees it, it must be eye catching. But the type of language that you use that reflects your ability, how I can gaze the mind set of the researcher. So that also hypothesis, formulation of hypothesis, don't use as many hypotheses as you like. When the null hypothesis to be used, when alternative hypothesis used, and while framing the sentences also very carefully one should be used. One should be very careful in framing the objectives, and framing while designing the research hypothesis also very meticulously one should plan and accordingly do it. And the functional definitions of the research, that also be many theses unfortunately nobody is touching upon. Whatever the fundamental concept that they have used, clearly define it. What you have understood, The definition of a one concept, somebody that might have understood in those days like that. The same concept, when you are using it, you contemplate it as per today's requirements, and in what sense you are using the same concept under your in our research. That must be there very beautifully. And sample universe you must identify. Sample size, sample universe. Many researchers, unfortunately, in social science research, they are not properly being selected on scientific lines. Because for that also, whatever the selection, sample selection we have made, selected, whether it is rational, scientific or not, there are some research techniques are also there. And also data source and tools used. Unfortunately, they do not, many of the scholars do not know the difference between questionnaire and schedule. When questionnaire is to be used, when schedule is to be used, how the contents should be there, how the questions are to be framed, right? And open-ended questions will be there, closed-ending questions will be there, observation methods and all these things. And while using the statistical tools also, many of the research scholars are unfortunately unable to distinguish between questionnaire and a schedule. That also you must be very carefully used. And in the statistical techniques also, as a short while ago I told, statistical techniques should come in the process. They should not be used unnecessarily. Because there is a wrong notion among the students that if your thesis doesn't have the statistical technique, the quality of the thesis is very, very low. Similarly, the more number of statistical techniques one uses, one can have an impression that the thesis has a high standard. Not at all so. ఇది ఎట్లుంటుందంటే మనకు బాగా చెప్తుంటామే, పాత సినిమాల్లో జోక్స్లు ఎట్లున్నాయంటే కథలో పార్ట్ అయి ఉండేవి. అందుకనే ఆ కథకు ఆ జోక్స్కు సంబంధం ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు మనం అట్లా కాదు, ఒక దాని స్ట్రాటజికల్ టెక్నిక్ ఏదో ఉంటుంది, ఇది దేనికో వాడేసి ఉంటాడు, దానికి దీనికి రెలవెన్స్ ఉండదంటే లేదు. అందువల్లనే మనం స్టాటిస్టికల్ టెక్నిక్స్, శాంపుల్ టెక్నిక్స్ సరిగా లేదని చాలా క్రిటిసిజం ఉంది. స్టాటిస్టికల్ టెక్నిక్స్లో కూడా శాంపుల్ సైజులో రాంగ్తో పాటు శాంపుల్ టెక్నిక్స్ వాడేది దేనికి, అన్ని పర్పస్ శాంపులింగ్, అన్ని కన్వీనియన్స్ శాంపులింగ్, అన్ని దిస్ ఇస్ ద వే హౌ దే ఆర్ యూజింగ్, అన్ని స్ట్రాటిఫై ర్యాండమ్ శాంపులింగ్, వెదర్ ఆర్ నాట్, దట్ ఇస్ నాట్ ఎట్ ఆల్ యూజింగ్. వెదర్ ఆర్ నాట్ ది కాంటెక్చువల్లీ దే మస్ట్ బి యూజ్. The same should be used in the study also. In the study something is used, but in writing something we have used it. So therefore, unfortunately, many theses are not finding, there is a lacuna, there is a gap. What we have used in the thesis and what we have actually written on the thesis. There is not at all. So also, statistical techniques are unnecessarily being used, whether or not their relevance is there. But unfortunately, that also very, very carefully taken care of. And the limitations also while writing the limitations also, time constraints, subject constraints, and financial constraints, and everything should be very meticulously, carefully taken care of. Taking any research program by an individual is entirely different than by an institution. So that financial constraints, time constraints will also be there. Along with this one, what is the practical constraints that are there in our research should be identified and written. That is what Sivaram Prasad sir also was. He was also touching upon that limitations, under what conditions the limitations are to be used like that. Then scope for further research. In many researchers, unfortunately, in many report writings, this is not at all found. Scope, whatever the research that is being done today, it must give scope for what about within a next on one lines the same topic can be done. And scope for further research should also be skillfully highlighted and given. And chapter plan also very meticulously planned out. So, and bibliography references can also be duly, very rigorously, very skillfully they must be taken, because don't have the wrong notion that references will not be seen by the examiners, and italics should be observed, and this chronological order should be very meticulously followed, and names, when the titles of the articles should be underlined, titles of the books are to be underlined, and imprint, place of article, year of writing, place of publication, and year of publication, this is what it can be called as imprint. So that also very, very carefully one should be knowing. So therefore, all these things can also be spoken on, at a high length, but within 1 or 1.5 hour talking on a vast topic is indeed cannot be touched upon and covered. So anyhow, the topic that is selected for discussion under this 5 days program, indeed very time testing, contemporary relevance, more than that academically, researchally significant upon. I appreciate Dr. Sudhakaraiah and his team for carrying such a very, very important, for selecting a topic for a contemporary relevance, for debate and discussion among researchers and research supervisors, research scholars, teacher fraternity, right? I have my own limitations because there is one saying in English, nobody is perfect, I am nobody. Because I can, what I might have done it, I might have given in a PPT presentation, because of the time constraints, I had been for the 2 days I am out of station. That is the reason why preparing for a PPT had become a problem. That is the reason why I am extremely sorry. This is my limitation. And still, I might have spoken about how the advanced research methodologies, starting from the research methods, research techniques, research framework, research best practices, research challenges, research design, research tools, and research writings. In all these things, how the modernity can be reflected, taking the advantage of information technology and digitalization. I must have done it, but it is my limitation. Added to that, I should also talk about what is the quantitative research studies as of now, what is the qualitative research studies being taken as of now, what is the mix of all these quantitative, qualitative research, what are the limitations, what are the plus points, what are the negative points, and what are the contemporary day researchers are attempting on all these lines, what are the limitations should also be in the focus and the idea of this topic, but that also I did not touch upon. And I should also touch upon what is the research data analysis as of now, what are the steps that are involved, starting from determination of how data will be grouped based on demographic factors, to that of how the relationship between different selected variables, that is variables and relationship between variables, how it can be measured, how this can be done. That also should also be talking about, starting from the determination of the how the data is supposed to be grouped, how the collected data can be grouped with the help of the computers, and how the group data can be organized for data analysis, and based on that how the data can be disseminated for clear-cut analysis. And once that has been, data can also be analyzed by using improved business processes, and they can also be used for personalized using by personal computers, and using that data can also be done. And based on that, predictability can also, quantitative terms, predictability can also be done. That is also one of the limitations. Then the characteristics of a good quality researcher means it must have the ethically very, very important. And whatever the topic that they have chosen, and because whatever the topic that are chosen by my senior, I should not take it as it is. It is the ethical part. Whatever the other department, because the research has become today multidisciplinary, monodiscipline has gone out, multidisciplinary has come in. That is the reason why whatever that is done in MBA, I should not repeat the same with some kindness of adding some word, something else with another name. I should not do such a type of research, because that comes under ethical code of conduct. That characteristics of a present day good research is, it must be subjected to ethical standards must be there, and the thesis must be communication. It is the communication between the researcher, guide, and the other researchers and the society. So there must be, your thesis stands as a good communicator between your ideas to that of the idea that the society is wanting from you. And the research should also be done and collaborative, and because synergy effect is there. And that is the reason why it is a research, as a matter of fact, is a research binding between the research supervisor and the research guide, research scholar. That is the reason why the quality of the thesis depends upon the quality of the researcher and the research supervisor. It is a, they should bind together. Neither the scholar alone nor the guide alone cannot do everything. Certain things guide can be done, guide can do certain things, and most of the things done should be done by the research scholar. But unfortunately, the research scholar, because of their closeness, everything he attends on research supervisor's day in and day out activity. That is the reason why he depends upon the mercy of the research supervisor. Unfortunately, research supervisor also all these days, they are otherwise busy than the academic matters. That is the reason why they are unable to pay attention on the research supervisor, research scholar. That is the reason why inordinate delay is being made in submitting the thesis. As a result, what is happening? The quality of the thesis unfortunately has been deteriorated, and the quality has been gradually coming down. So, when that with such a thesis, if you go to Bangalore or some other urban areas where your quality of your thesis will be underestimated, that is the reason why you cannot market your skills through your research program. That is the reason why your thesis should be a marketing product through which your capabilities can be easily be marketed for higher value. But unfortunately, it is not happening. So the quality of the thesis should have always, it must have the critical thinking. Your thesis questions and your research findings should give the scope for high critical thinking. And digital analysis should also be very clearly done, and it must have the validity, reliability, feasibility, clear-cut sampling strategies, and the whatever the variables that you have, and independent variable, dependent variable, intervening variables. You must have the sound knowledge how these variables can be measured using statistical techniques has also become the important topic, especially in the age of information and digital era. Therefore, I believe digitalization is a boon, digitalization is a bane. But how best you can use the digitalization forever? Quality research in social sciences has become order of the day and need of the hour. Therefore, I expect all of you have a thorough knowledge about advanced research uh, methodologies that is made available in different books and in different online courses with the different subject experts one side, and quality of the thesis should come from hereafter. Therefore, if you have the quality of research, quality of thesis can be bought for higher price. And more than that, the society is expecting a lot from you. Therefore, your, the way how it all depends upon my belief. My belief is that with a great conviction and with the commitment of the guide and the research scholar, the quality of the thesis can definitely be come with a high flavor and fragrance. I request all of you put your rigorous mind and thought for bringing out right kind of quality thesis in the during this year and in the years to come and the decades to come, because future belongs to you. We are the asset of the nation. You are the future of the nation. The future of the nation depends upon, that is what the higher central government and state government are expecting more on the budding people like you and younger generation like you. By 2050, I believe younger generation will rule the world, and you are the responsibility is lying on your shoulders to pay back to the society whatever you are taking from the society. Pay back to the society in terms of your good research outcomes in the form research in the form of dissertations, theses, research articles, scholarly articles, and I am sure, I bless you all, that you will definitely keep all these things in mind, and you can produce the quality of research in the years to come and decades to come, and you can restore the splendid, the glory of the past, the glory of the research social science credibilities can lying on you, making the social sciences as a vibrant in the, and it has become the source of knowledge forever, and it will become. Therefore, social science research should add something to the existing knowledge in the universe. I am sure you will definitely keep up your promises, and I request you all, appeal you all, and see that whatever little I have spoken, I have given to you my stray ideas, tiny ideas, and very sporadic ideas I have shared to you. I'm sure that I have given a sparking ideas. You try to make it a big flames and bring the blossom and bring the fragrance of social science research to the vibrant society by 2030 and more than above all 2047. All the best. God bless you. I once again profusely thank Sudhakaraiah garu and Principal garu and all the participants who have been listening for the last couple of hours for my very small. I have given you a sparking idea as I told you. See that you should make it a big flame. Thank you very much for giving a wonderful opportunity and listening for your patience listening. Thank you very much, sir. Right, Sudhakaraiah garu.
Sir.
Right, okay.
Okay, sir.
Any queries, please?
1 minute, sir.
Right, Sudhakaraiah garu, parvaleda?
Okay, sir.
Huh?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir,
Thank you very much.
for the inspiring and thought-provoking information topic. Report writing. Your session is very enthusiastic, enriching, and lively. You have shared with us the detailed and practical insights on how to write reports.
How to write? I should. That is the result. I should have spoken. 10
Yes,
to
sir.
20 minutes. I have spoken. How to write research article and the research abstracts.
Yes,
When I
sir. Yes, sir.
study it, then okay.
How to plan and structure the report, writing techniques and style,
స్పోరాడిక్
proofing.
ఐడియా నేను ఇచ్చాను. స్పోరాడిక్ ఐడియా అక్కడక్కడ ఐడియాలు ఇచ్చాను.
Yes, sir.
మీలాంటి వారు ఏం చేయాలంటే దాన్ని ఒక ఆర్డర్లో రాసుకుంటే ఆర్డర్లో రాసుకుని దీంట్లో ఉన్న అర్థం ఇది, దీంట్లో ఉన్న పరమార్థం ఇది, దీంట్లో ఉన్న ఐడియా ఇది, దీంట్లో ఉన్న ఇన్సైట్ ఇది, దీంట్లో ఉన్న ఐడియాలు ఇవి, దీంట్లో ఉన్న ఇన్పుట్ ఇవి అని దాన్ని పెట్టుకొని ఒక లైన్లో వేసుకొని ఒకదానికి నేను చెప్పిన దాన్ని లింకప్ చేసుకొని పోతే దట్ ఎక్సర్సైజ్ యూ షుడ్ డూ. దట్ ద రీజన్ వై యూ షుడ్ ఇగ్నైట్ యువర్ ఐడియాస్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐడియాస్ ఐ హావ్ గివెన్. నేను ఇచ్చిన ఐడియాని మీరు ఇగ్నైట్ చేసి ఒక లాజిక్ గా రాసుకోవాలి.
Okay.
రైట్.
And so on.
రైట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ అండి.
Qualitative research for the society. Importance of selecting title for the research thesis. How to use statistical techniques in the research. What are the ethics for research? How to framing the objectives in research. Research challenges. What are the limitations for the research? SAR covered all these topics. Dear participants, now this is your time. If you have any queries, you are requested to clarify your doubts with Professor Venkataramana sir.
సరే సుధాకర్ గారు, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
Sir,
రేపు జాయిన్
dear
అవుతాను మళ్ళీ.
participants, now this is your time. If you have any queries, you are requested to clarify your doubts with Professor Venkataramana sir.
సరేలేండి. రైట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
I hope
Right.
you have clarified your doubts. If there are no other queries, we shall move on the end of the session.
రైట్.
I request vote of thanks by Dr. Sister Amul Mary, head of the Department of Computers.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ మేడం. మేడం డాక్టర్ మేరీ మేడం.
Yes,
గుడ్
sir.
ఈవినింగ్.
Yes, sir.
హ్యావ్ ఏ బ్లెస్డ్ నైట్.
Yeah, yes, sir. It was really enriching, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir, to deliver your session. As we draw close to the today's enlightening session of the 5-day National Webinar-cum-Faculty Development Program on the advanced research methodology and data analysis in the digital age, it is my privilege to extend a heartfelt thanks to Professor Venkataramana sir for his enlightening session on report writing. Sir, your inspiring words have given us a broader understanding about report writing. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation to be a resource person for today's session. Thank you, sir. Dear participants, I extend my gratitude to every one of you for your active participation, and I look forward to you for the 5th day, the last day of the Webinar-cum-FDP, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Ma'am.
sir.
Good
The
evening,
feedback-
ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, sir. The feedback form will be posted in the WhatsApp group. You are requested to fill the feedback form. Thank you, one and all.
Right, madam.
Yes.